Hello, and welcome to Shut Up and Game. Today, we will be covering the pastures and crops. Starting with the crops, this is perhaps the easiest part of the sanctuary. All we really need to do is grow 2 of each plant. As soon as you can afford it, you should buy all of the seeds available from your gardener. Many workshop crafts will be requiring them. The crops take 48 hours to grow, starting from when they are planted. Because of this, I suggest you automate your crops, unless you are able to be online within an hour after the server reset. That is all we really need to do with our crops. Make sure to check on them every once in a while to collect your yields. With crops out of the way, let's move on to the pastures. As we will all eventually reach rank 10 and fully upgrade our pastures, I will be approaching this subject from that perspective. To start, let's cover the creature's moods and what they mean. When you first open the caretaker's interface, it simply displays an icon under mood. This does not tell you much. Here are what these symbols represent. But what do they really mean? The creature's mood affects the chance for them to drop a second material when you harvest their leavings. The better the mood, the better the chance. For instance, if your creature is in a gleeful mood, they have an 80% chance to drop a second material. Here are the percentage chance for each of the moods. The hunger is just like the water for your crops, a sort of timer letting you know if it is time to feed them or not. But, what should you be feeding your creatures? If you don't care about the secondary drops, your creatures can sustain themselves purely by basking in your magnificent presence. You are the warrior of light, after all. Once you capture a creature, it is yours forever. It will never run away, even if its mood is hostile and you never give them anything to eat. Or, you could opt to use the Tier 1 food, Sweet Feed. This requires you to gather apples, which is kind of a pain, and it only increases a creature's mood up to content and only by 1 mood level at a time. The other option is, in my opinion, the go-to. This is the Tier 2 food, Green Feed. This only requires 2 of a single crop to create. Green Feed will increase your creature's mood up to chipper and by 2 mood levels per feeding. This gives you a solid 50% chance of obtaining a second material from your creatures. The Tier 3 food is meant to be used on specific creatures, virtually ensuring a secondary drop from them at 80%. This can be useful for adapting to changing workshop demands. I would not recommend you use Tier 3 feed on all of your creatures every day. This will quickly eat up your crop stores and may hinder you with your workshop crafts. So, what creatures should you capture to make sure your workshop needs are covered? With a fully upgraded pasture, you have 20 available slots for creatures. With those 20 slots, we have to determine the optimal setup. With workshop crafting in mind, let's take a look at all of the creatures and what they drop, then we can begin to create the most optimal spread. Thanks to pioneers on the Poking Paradise Discord, others have gone before us and already determined this. I will leave a link in the description to Jaco's pasture guide, covering in great detail what each creature drops, and various builds for your pasture. But for the sake of brevity, I will share with you the true min-max setup from their guide. This collection of creatures, along with Tier 2 food, will ensure you obtain a full spread of leavings each day. Check out my previous video covering the rare creatures and how to obtain them. And that pretty much covers everything you need to know about your crops and pastures. I know there have probably been a million videos on the subject by now, but I have to finish what I started. If I help even a single person, it will all have been worth it. So, let me know in the comments, and I am always willing to answer questions you may have. Remember to like the video and subscribe to show your support. Thanks for watching, and good luck out there,